Welcome to the Cosmonaut Training Center. As you're well aware today, the Intergovernmental Commission meeting took place that summarized the training of the cosmonaut crews, and the decision was made to start their preparation of the Soyuz for launch. The launch is planned for September 2nd. Please allow me to introduce the prime and backup crew. The prime crew members: Commander of Soyuz, Flight Engineer of the ISS Crew 4546, Sergei Volkov, Russia. Flight Engineer of Soyuz Vehicle, Andreas Mogensen, Visiting Crew 18. Flight Engineer 2 of Soyuz Vehicle, Visiting Crew 18. Aidyn Aimbetov, Kazakhstan, and the backup crew. Commander of the crew, the backup crew, Oleg Skripochka. Flight Engineer of Soyuz TMA-18M, Visiting Crew 18, Flight Engineer Toma Pesquet, and Flight Engineer Sergei Prokopyev, Visiting Crew. Roscosmos, Russia. Dear colleagues, if you have any questions, please proceed. Alexander Kovalov, RIA Novosti. First of all, I would like to congratulate the Prime and the backup crew with their assignment, the final assignment to the crew. We can say now preliminarily that the Prime and the backup crew will remain as they are and will not swap places. And a question to Sergei Volkov and to Mr. Aidyn Aimbetov. First, the traditional question: what your zero gravity indicator is going to be, the so-called zero G charm. And also wanted to find out, you're going to have the progress vehicle dock into ISS. Wanted to see if there are any specifics they need to know how to work with it. We understand it's going to dock in automatic mode. Wanted to find out if there are any specific details that you need to know. And a question for Aidyn: what are the details of the National Space Program of Kazakhstan and Science Research Program you're planning to do for the Kazakhstan Space Program? So, okay, you want me to start? Okay, I will. Well, as far as the zero-G indicator, children have already prepared one, as far as I know. So there is a trend. We can see it's going to be a small piglet. As far as the cargo vehicle is concerned, we're expecting 3 progress vehicles to arrive, and 2 of them are going to be SM. During the automatic rendezvous and docking to the station, there will be the displays. Crew displays will be a little bit different. Most of the crew interfaces are going to be the same. I have undergone training here how to perform cargo vehicle docking. The signals from the control handles go through with a small delay. We previously docked the cargo vehicles in the orbital coordinate system. For docking, particularly this cargo vehicle, the station is going to be in a snap and hold attitude. It's going to maintain the steady attitude the entire time. So otherwise, it would be difficult to perform docking. That's how we're going to, well, we have undergone training with the instructor, even though these are not the standard procedure specified attitudes. Science Research Program of Kazakhstan. Science Research Program of Kazakhstan is rather broad. It continues the tradition started by the Space Research Program, starting by Bakirov and Musabayev. That includes such experiments as relaxatia, uragan, science research experiments such as interaction research of chemical reactions and atmospheric events. Also, researching interaction between international crew members during space flight. Thank you. Sergei, another question for you. And about the information that you're planning to take to the ISS, a small flag of the Night Wolves motorcycle club. Yes, it's true. I already packed it in my personal belongings. Where is it going to hang in the station so far? Well, we need to get it on board. Well, I hope you will be able to. And it's going to hang in my personal crew cabin, and then we'll see. Okay, thank you. Ekaterina Beloglasova, Russian Space. Could you tell us about the overall program that you're planning to have? And also about the EVA. Is the EVA dedicated to a specific topic? Are you going to do the EVA? Well, first of all, we have a EVA today. The two Russian cosmonauts are going to do the EVA today. In February, we're planning to have an EVA during our increment. Main purposes are, well, our hydro lab is shut off. We were doing a dry run, so to speak. In the hangar, and the specialists came, we were looking at the equipment, what equipment we need to install, which one needs to be removed. These are standard operations. However, some names of the equipment are complex. Everything is going to be interesting during the EVA, but the most interesting parts, there will be testing the equipment to repair the MLI outside of the station. We're going to install new equipment to perform Earth observation. And as you know, during each EVA, we're putting trays for exposure outside the station that include new materials. And we're going to remove some of the equipment. Thank you. Have the spacesuits been already upgraded for the EVA? Well, it's the same one that I had before. But I heard there are going to be some upgraded spacesuits this year. I'm going to be using the spacesuits that I used for my previous EVA. We need to first use up the service life of the equipment. We already had an upgraded spacesuit available at the time, but we were using the previous version of the spacesuit, and I'm going back there and I'm going to use up my previous. It's fairly expensive equipment, so we can't just scrap it when new comes up. As far as experiments are concerned, first we're going to include research since we're running along with the 1-year mission. Michael and Scott are going to do some experiments, and I'm going to be a subject of some of the experiments as well. I'm going to be assisting Michael and Scott in some of their experiments. Measure blood pressure and other things like that. The number of the experiments is going to exceed 70. I have about 30 medical research experiments only. It is a very well-planned and very busy program. European experiments are back on the schedule. And the visiting crew will also participate in the experiments. We're going to work along with Aidyn and Andreas. I don't even know when Andreas is going to be able to have the time to admire Earth from space because his schedule is fully packed. We're going to be working all the time. And you're going to have 6 people on board. Yes, we're going to have 6 people on board.
Chris from ESA TV, question for Andy, please, to pick up on what Sergei Volkov just said. Could you talk a little bit about your scientific program while you're up on the station, please?
It's going to be a very busy 10 days for me on board the space station. I have a full program of European and Danish experiments. A lot of them, or all of them, extremely interesting. We're going to use this opportunity, or ESA will use this short mission to test a lot of new technology that we hope to use not only in the future on board the space station, but also in the future on perhaps longer missions further out into space. So I'll be testing some real-time communication systems, mobile technology that will allow researchers and the control center to follow along in real time what I'm doing on board the space station, and hopefully in that way improve the efficiency of the work that we do on board the space station. I'll also be testing a skin suit that I'll be wearing. Hopefully that'll counteract some of the negative effects that we experience in weightlessness. Sergei mentioned that we'll be spending at least 2.5 to 3 days in Columbus together working on an experiment called Mars, which is aimed at understanding some of the effects that weightlessness has on our muscles. And this really is to help prepare for future long duration missions on board the ISS. So we'll be doing the first set of measurements on my muscles. I'll be sitting in a specially constructed chair where I'll be, my muscles essentially will be studied. So hopefully we can use that information as well to prepare for longer missions.
The political tensions between Russia and the Western nations. Any impediments on your mission?
No, I think one of the absolute most positive benefits of the International Space Station is the international partnership that's behind it. And I think the International Space Station really demonstrates what we can achieve when we work together towards a common set of goals. You know, the International Space Station today wouldn't exist if it wasn't for the cooperation among all the partners. So I think that's, you know, we often talk about the scientific research program, which of course is incredibly important. We also talk about the technological developments that we have achieved. But we often forget to mention the international cooperation. And I think it really is up there together with the scientific program that we do. It's a fantastic platform for international cooperation. So, you know, the tensions that exist here on Earth, we leave that behind, and on board the International Space Station, we are humans working together collectively to achieve a common set of goals.
May I ask a question to Aidyn Aimbetov, Kazakhstan News? I understand you were trained very quickly after a long break. Do you feel the effects? And it is a very important historic event. What would you like to say to the people of Kazakhstan concerning the upcoming event? As far as training is concerned, from 2003 to 2009, I was going through training here, and I was going as the recertification program in Kazakhstan. Currently, training was done over a short period of time. I would like to express my appreciation to the GCDC instructors and specialists, express their appreciation for professional training from 2003 through 2009, because they laid down very thorough groundwork, and the training right now presented some complications. I had to had to train more and study more, but I overcame these difficulties. I would like to wish the people of Kazakhstan all the very best. I would like to encourage them to remain committed to their goals, no matter how complicated they are. And I believe you would be able to achieve a lot if you're committed to your goals and country. News of Cosmonetics magazine. A question to Oleg Ivanovich.
Нет, пока нет, я когда говорю, когда буду в основном экипаже.
I'm going to.
Тренируемся по позывной по
We're currently going. Do you have the call sign? Are you already assigned to the next crew?
Будучи в основном, уже там необходимо иметь свои должности.
The prime crew, once assigned to prime crew, you have your own call sign. As a backup crew, you don't have your own call sign. You see, if the cosmonaut already has flown as the commander of the Soyuz, then you are assigned your own call sign for talking on the loops. Oleg is correct. That doesn't make any sign. You see, Chuka, it's very difficult to select the right call sign for yourself.
Ну, будем, конечно, тем более. Ну, Сергей Aimbetov длительное время, но оказал серьезную поддержку.
I should say that Sergei has really
Это было очень полезно для нас.
helped us, and it has been very useful.
Около года.
Has been useful for us to train together.
Интенсивно около года.
So
Друг с другом сработаться.
usually it's about a year's duration till the next. So we're currently preparing for the next missions.
Скажите, пожалуйста, как вам отдался русский язык?
A question for Andreas. What about your Russian training? Could you speak Russian and answer the question in Russian? How difficult was it to learn Russian language, and what is your experience in Russia? During my training, it was the most difficult part of my training to learn Russian. But it is a very important component. Important to be able to talk during the launch. So that is one part of our training.
Здравствуйте, Дмитрий Сургаев, агентство ТАСС. У меня
I have a question to Aidyn Aimbetov.
Вот ваш полет, он действительно неожиданный.
Your flight, your assignment to the crew was rather fast and unexpected to the mass media. A question about your project.
И второй вопрос. Вот
Second question. During your training
у вас был дублер.
in 2003, you had a backup crew member.
Космос. Он сменил гражданство с Казахстана.
He currently is a Russian national.
Вот что бы вы
What would you wish to your former backup crew? Would you be gleeful that you're flying right now and he has not flown even though he changed citizenship? Or I would like to start by saying a flight of a Kazakhstan cosmonaut has been scheduled for 2009 September timeframe. And we already prepared a contract between Roscosmos and Kazakh Space. We didn't have backup crew. There was supposed to be an intergovernmental commission session that was supposed to take place in Kazakhstan to select the prime and the backup crew, but we didn't get to that stage because of the world financial crisis, and the flight of the Kazakhstan cosmonaut was postponed since 2009 until now between our two our agencies. There were ongoing discussions about a flight of the Kazakhstan cosmonaut, and right now it is something that the Kazakhstan president was an achievement, and thank you to the Russian President Putin. Due to their mutual agreements over such a short time frame, it became possible to fly a Kazakhstani cosmonaut. Thank you. What are your wishes to your colleagues? Well, you see, each person chooses their own path. A question for Sergei. Sergei, for you. Sometimes, first time people jump, do parachute jump, people have some apprehension. Then you know more about it. So, when you're flying again, what would you like to see again and do? Both during the first and second flight, it's normal to feel stressed, but this is our work to fly into space. I wanted to fly, and I was training, preparing between the first and second flight. Some time passed, and some time passed between those flights and now. There are some young cosmonauts who have to gain the spaceflight experience as well. So some people have more opportunities, some people have fewer opportunities to implement their wishes to compare first and second space flights and training for the third space flight. I think the responsibility level, the level of responsibility increases because you know the specialists well, and the specialists know you well. And there are certain expectations from the crew members, from the crew. And the last thing I would want to do is to fail the expectations and to, you see, prior to the first flight, you are working hard to achieve your dream, but nobody knows you. You don't know anyone, so you're just working hard to implement your dream. Right now, you're fully aware that there are expectations and responsibilities, and responsibility is more recognized by the crew members. Dear colleagues, I believe there are no more questions. Oh, please go ahead. A question to Oleg Ivanovich. After being backup crew member, you're going to start training for the prime crew. You're going to fly a new modified vehicle. We're going to train as prime. So the question is, what is the difference in terms of vehicle control? There are certain design modifications in terms of location of the approach and rendezvous thrusters. There is a new onboard computer system that was changed for the Soyuz TMA for the previous modification. Right now, the rendezvous system is going to be upgraded The crew operations are going to change in relationship to the system as well, but right now as an operator, I wouldn't be able to tell what the difference is. Dear colleagues, thank you very much for your questions. To the crew members and to the crew members, thank you very much for your detailed answers. That completes our press conference.
И пожмите, пожалуйста, традиционно руки.
And please, traditional handshake, like this, yes.